Last time on the Triforce podcast.
Can I just say that within an 11-minute period, the absolute fuckery that has happened in this series, episode 1 was a train wreck.
It's too precious to me. Absolutely not. I'm like, you're a fucking fool.
And all I have to say is, and I wrote this 17 to 30 times within my notes, did anyone tell them it's just Duel Monsters? Oh yeah, literally next episode, he's like, I'm gonna challenge Yugi, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't.
It's just so egregiously wrong.
Look, I could care less.
But then it wouldn't be fun, Yugi boy.
Coming back and watching this gave me an aneurysm.
They're like my favorite podcast to listen to.
Get a sound check.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're laughing all over this thing.
Dude, I love them.
Here we go! It's the Triforce.
So, Rain was talking last week about something very, that I'd like to bring up again. You said that we should just explain to these people it is just Duel Monsters, and I don't think anybody in that show could use that lesson more than Seto Kaiba. Good God, man.
It's just a game.
I mean, he actually is thinking about it as just a game, but, he's so over dramatic about it in such a shallow. Yeah, he's such a fucking tryhard.
Tryhard.
I am so infuriated by Seto Kaiba's just anything he says.
Are you understanding why literally my notes every other episode it's just like, did someone tell them it's Duel Monsters?
I know!
It's just Duel Monsters, and they're out here betting their souls and their souls of their friends and shit like that. It's a children's card game, my guy.
I
thought we were just playing for Starships. This is a lot.
I really think that Kaiba, is just, there's something deeply wrong with Seto Kaiba because he's sitting here quite literally watching people's souls get taken away, and he's like, I don't believe this shit. This is a card game with powerful cards, and that's all that matters. I'm like, you are literally seeing people die because of this game.
Can we get Seto Kaiba a therapist, please?
Honestly.
Well, he can certainly afford one, so...
Yeah,
it would be... The first season would be 30 episodes long, at least. That's it. That's all that we would need.
I think we just need a spin-off of Kaiba attending therapy. We need a two broke girls for Seto Kaiba and Mokuba. Just trying to make it. You know what I mean?
You're a third-rate counselor.
Oh my god.
Well,
wow.
I figure it's best, quite like Kaiba, in order to put ourselves on the ledge as to where we were last time on Yu-Gi-Oh!
What a fucking turd.
So, damn, I haven't heard that word used in a while.
It's such a mild insult, but you know exactly what kind of person that is.
Yeah, there's difference between calling someone a turd and a shit, I think.
Yeah, it's like calling someone a dingus. You know what a dingus is.
Yeah.
You just know who a dingus is.
It's so innocent that it's almost more offensive.
It is. Oh my god. But yeah, we're talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1 again, but this is part 2.
Season 1, part 2.
Absolutely, and hopefully it only takes part 2 because there's not much more I can take of this. There's a lot of mental games being played in season 1, and good fucking lord, do I feel that. I literally feel like I've been put through one of these mental games and I cannot handle it.
Oh, well then let's relax and just do this from afar then for the people.
Wow, so season 1, where did we leave off last time? We left off in the middle of the season.
22, right?
22.
Yeah, we left off with the end of the Paradox Brothers.
Oh, I love them. I love them so much.
Yeah, we're on to bigger and better and less bald things.
It's true.
Into more hairy situations, we would say.
Oh, where is it? Give me the rim shot.
There. Hey, there we go.
That's all we want. That's all we want is the one-liners out of you.
The more I watch season 1, the more I've come to realize I think I'm Joey Wheeler. 100%.
Yeah?
I think
What's
so.
bringing you? What's bringing you to that?
Because, you know, I'm definitely not as strong a duelist as anyone else in my group, but I am fantastically loud and super supportive. So, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I would definitely run the Red Eyes Black Dragon, 100%.
Yeah, you've got some Time Wizard, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Although I do love the Dark Magician, but whatever.
All right, Rain, would you like to take us off?
Yeah. So, episode 22, they all are like, we have enough star chips to go to the castle. Finally, it's only been 22 episodes. But you know who's there? Your favorite boy, Seto Kaiba. And he's like, you can't enter the castle because we have to duel. And Yugi's like, I don't want to do that.
Bitch, I don't want to do it.
Like, he's just like, I want to go get my grandpa back. I don't want to duel you. And Kaiba's like, you have to.
It's such a turn. It's just like...
Which really, I mean, he doesn't put up much more of a fight. He's just like, okay.
Well, like, my favorite part is that Kaiba goes, and his reasoning for why Yugi has to duel him is, I've changed, let me duel you for the right reason. Because he's learned about the heart of the cards. And I literally wrote in my notes, I don't think the heart of the cards is a valid reason for a rematch. But, you know, Yugi then immediately is like, I'm gonna beat you once and for all. Like, there isn't a bunch more seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything like that.
More like fart of the cards, this guy.
Oh, there it is. Dude, does that require a rim shot? I don't know if that one requires.
I was going to see if you were going to give it to me.
I'll
I
give it
don't
to you.
want to earn it on my... Yeah, okay, that feels good. I want to earn it, you know? Okay. So, obviously, then they begin the iconic... Is this the rooftop one?
This is the rooftop.
Ah, so good. I remember that. And he pulls off one of his... probably the card that becomes pretty synonymous with Kaiba for the rest of the series in this.
Oh yeah, the Blue Eyes, big Blue Eyes Ultimate Boy.
Yeah. The original triple threat.
Absolutely, and it's just such a dumb duel.
Dude, I have to ask, and like this is probably like the last thing anyone's actually thinking about. So you know how they were like, there's only 4 Blue Eyes cards in existence, right?
Uh-huh.
So does that mean there's only 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate card because now there's only 3 Blue Eyes cards? So only one person would be able to run it. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, did Kaiba make that card himself?
Kaiba definitely made that card. He definitely made that card because there's no fucking way that Maximilian Pegasus was like, I'm going to make 4 Blue Eyes and 1 fusion monster for 3 of them.
I can't believe that the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is Kaiba's Yu-Gi-Oh! OC. Like, this is unbelievable.
That's literally it.
Like, and if you notice, like, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon clearly looks different than the 3 Blue Eyes that make it up. And it's like, Kaiba literally sat there and is like, how can I make the Blue Eyes more spiky? And, like, it's just, it's such an OC.
I love Seto Kaiba's Deviant art account.
Oh man,
we love that.
So good. And then that duel happened, and remember how he fucking fused Mammoth Graveyard, 2 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and melted the thing.
Oh, hold on now.
God.
Hold on now. We can't forget the dumbest card in all existence, which is the Crush Card Virus.
Yeah, that is so dumb.
Oh my god, the virus.
I'm watching season 2, and he literally just used it on Merrick's sister, and I'm like, get the this Crush card is so dumb. It's so dumb.
So the Crush Card Virus, any monster over 1500 attack, you're done. You're done, son. It's not happening.
And what it does in the actual real life is you just can't play any monster over 1500. It doesn't destroy all of them. So
it's a virus.
No, they're all destroyed. You don't understand, Colton. They're all just destroyed.
They're sent to the graveyard. I'm just like, no, it's not. It's just, you just can't play them, and you can destroy it. So
I think, like, what we need to discuss, though, the probably the worst part of this duel in the entirety is that Yugi really just goes, I know how to beat your dragon, and then plays Karibo.
Oh, yeah.
and then uses the multiply spell card and is like, oh yeah, Karibo fucking self-destructs on any monster it comes in contact with.
Karibo's a furry bomb! Yay!
And
We
he's
love
like,
that.
"What? I'm attacking. Why am I not doing any damage? Oh, the Karibos multiply faster than your dragon can attack." And
Yeah.
I literally was sitting here. This was the exact moment in time. It starts in episode 24 because this is a three-parter duel.
It is.
Of just where I turn around and my notes say, the 90s sure were a strange time, weren't they? Oh fuck, this came out in 2000? Well, still a weird time nonetheless.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Like, this
Well-
this duel is so fucking... I don't even know what else to say. Kaiba threatens to, like, kill himself in the middle of the
He
duel.
really
Yeah.
does threaten to kill it. Well, he doesn't even, like... So here's the worst part about that, is he doesn't really threaten to kill himself. He threatens, like, that somehow destroying the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon will force him off the fucking building. He's like,
Yeah.
what would happen if the shockwave from Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, like, getting hit with a sword from Celtic Guardian, what would happen? Maybe it would knock me off the bridge. I'm like, at that point, I kind of agreed with the Pharaoh. I was just like, fuck him.
It's very much like a moment of conflict between both Yami and Yugi. Like they kind of like disagree on to what to do because Yugi's a good guy and he's like, I don't want to kill this dude, or like assist in his suicide or whatever. But I feel like Yami's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get a Star Wars quote out there. He's just like Palpatine to Anakin. He's just like, do it, just do it, kill him. Like that's really all it is.
I just feel like I understand Kaiba's trying to save his brother and whatever. I get you. But, like, Yugi has been here from the start, just since episode 2, out here trying to just be like, gotta save my grandpa's soul. And, like, I would have been with Yami and been like, well, I attack your blue eyes, fuck you.
Yeah, I would have been
don't-
with Yami all the way. I would have looked at him and be like, you survived this once, do it again. Like, you know? It's
Aim for the water.
aim for the water, like, get the fuck out of here. We didn't have to do this because you're just like, oh, I need to duel you right now. Even though everyone's clearly in danger and there's souls being stolen from people, he's like, no, I have to be the best duelist in the world. And Yugi's
It's actually a pretty good English Kaiba impression. Like that's not bad. Like,
I have to be the best duelist in the world. Yeah, it's just I
So
can't
good.
handle Kaiba.
well, obviously, Yugi wins out and Kaiba wins the duel, which is trash. But you know, Yugi gets upset about it. Do it. Literally.
Yugi gets really upset about
yeah, he literally
like, that whole
gives up
thing.
dueling.
Yeah, like, the next episode, Yugi's like, I can never duel again. And my dumbass is like, I don't know, why don't you just take off the fucking puzzle?
For
Like,
real.
just take off the fucking puzzle and you won't have to deal with him. And, like, you know, I was just sitting there and I'm like, y'all really, you really just can't, you can just remove it. It comes off.
It comes off.
I promise, it's just a necklace. It'll be okay.
Well, I mean, is there any talk of like the puzzle like being, it's like kind of this like cursed object, like it's kind of like this binding force between Yugi and this centuries old pharaoh. It's pretty crazy that this like middle schooler got involved with this kind of shit. Like, I like to think about my
keep
students
forgetting-
having some of this responsibility. Absolutely not.
I keep
You know, like-
forgetting they're literally like school age children, and I'm like, yo, this is insanity.
So we move on to, I just watched this episode today, actually. So Yugi's all bummed out. He's like sad. And we get to see, I don't know if it's the first time, but it's definitely a certain time we get to see the dueling stylings of one Taya Gardner.
Love Taya.
Yeah, definitely cool. Despite her lack of experience, she offers to duel the other Yugi Aifu, Mai Valentine, who's just chilling. Got more than enough shit to get into face Pegasus, but he's like, sure, I've got some extra star chips. Why not? I'll duel your friend. And if Taya manages to pull it out, she'll give him the extra star chips, and he'll be able to go into the castle, which would probably really piss off Kaiba. So,
I think one of my favorite parts of this episode is Mai turning around and being like, "Don't you know Yugi's checked out, and Yugi's just in his head like, how do I fight God?"
Yeah.
You know, like he's like, how do I fight a god so this doesn't happen to me? Everyone, oh man, Yugi's so checked out, he doesn't care about dueling, he doesn't care about you. And I'm just like, no, he's really just trying to figure out what his next step is.
Seems to be fighting God. Seems to be punching God in the face.
That's really it. This is also the episode with the, I drew a trap card, but what does it do? I don't know. Read the fucking description of the card, Taya, and maybe you'll find out.
I don't know, man, because each one of these cards, they don't have the description on them. I don't know how anybody plays this game.
I really
like,
don't. I think that that's just a visual for us, because they always say, you can read the description on the card. I'm like, bish, where? Like, where do you find that information? And like, sometimes in season 1, like, Rain, you remember every time they're like, you should have read the manual. I'm like, what fucking manual? Where is the manual?
Where is it?
Please direct me to. Imagine it's just got Pegasus's face on it.
Oh my god.
How to duel for dummy boys. Well, obviously, this is when, for me anyway, my Valentine kind of changes from like a tertiary antagonist to like a good person.
Yeah.
Like she's chilling. Taya's not doing well against my Valentine, seasoned duelist, but she keeps going, and she just kind of notices that and throws it. She forfeits the duel. She puts her hand over the deck, which is the Yu-Gi-Oh symbol for I give up, and she gets the extra star chips, and we're on to Pegasus's castle.
Do you remember that there was a card in Taya's deck literally called Shining Friendship?
Yeah, that's the name of the episode. Shining Friendship.
Fucking killed me.
That's Taya's OC.
That is
Taya wrote
absolutely.
that card.
It's such it's ridiculous. I'm like, you cannot be fucking serious right now. Oh man, but that was.
Oh, but she is.
That was
It
was a very cool duel. I'd actually like to see Taya duel more. You know, that would be kind of fun. But yeah, then we get Mai giving she gave the star chips to Yugi back that he lost, and it was a really sweet moment. You know, like.
But she's still like up. Like she's just like playing with house money at that point. Like she has extra starships, so she's also going in to duel Pegasus as well. She's like, I'm here. I did what I was supposed to do. Unlike the rest of you slackers.
Oh yeah. She's definitely like Rouge the Batting all over this island. And
very, very similar vibes. Very similar vibes.
They are the same fucking character. 100%.
Right.
But like it's so cool to see all the characters that got through to Pegasus, you know, because I was really hoping that all of the ones that got through did get through. And I remember watching this back and experiencing this as a child again. Like, I hope all of these people except Don't you
talk shit about my man Duke Devlin. I heard
Not Duke Devlin. The other guy. Bandit Keith. Bandit Keith. Except Bandit Keith. I'm so happy that everyone that got in. So.
Speaking of Bandit Keith,
fuck him.
Kaiba runs into the same trouble as Bandit Keith does in that we mentioned last time in episode 26 and 27, doesn't he, Rain?
Yes. He does. So you have it, Pegasus is like, all right, we gonna duel. And Kaiba's sitting there, and Kaiba thinks he's slick, which I'm still trying to figure this out. I brought this up in the part 1 podcast. But Kaiba thinks that because he created this hologram system, that he is going to be able to beat Pegasus at a duel. Still don't know what the advantage is.
I don't know.
I'm never going to know what the advantage is, because then Pegasus goes, sure, only if I can have somebody else use the disc for me, and brings out Mokuba's soulless body.
Yeah.
Which, if that is not, I was about to say, if that is not a fucking power move, I don't know what is.
It's such a power move. And, like, you're right. There is absolutely zero advantage to that. It's, maybe he just wanted the notoriety that Pegasus used it.
I don't know. You know everyone's gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, like there's.
But
that's the only reason I can think of.
yeah. But Kaiba gets upset and he's like, "We're not gonna do this. I'm calling it off. We'll just duel normally." I spent a good 5 minutes trying to figure out what Pegasus really needs all these souls for, or if he's just vibing. And
I think that's his.
thing.
I think that's his own power move. He's just like, yes, I have people's souls in my cards. What of it?
Well, we actually find out later why that is, but like for right now, this is just him vibing, and I'm fine with that.
Just him vibing. We get the Millennium Eye shenanigans, part 7.
True.
You just pulled the Crush Card virus, didn't you, Kaiba boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's some cheating. That's some cheater bot shit. That's some hacks. I don't know how I feel about the Millennium Eye.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, I remember getting so mad. I was like, "That's cheating."
Yeah.
It is cheating.
90% of the duels in the Duelist Kingdom were cheating.
I know. I knew you were going to say that too.
It does not stop. In Battle City, it's almost worse. So, that's a recurring theme here, folks. Oh my god!
We finally get to see Toon World in action and the
Yes,
Toon
we
Monsters.
I do kind of love the way they play in the show because it's so fun to watch that. It's fun to watch those monsters up against Kaiba. Like just knowing how much they piss him off. It makes me very happy to know that. And then we see the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, which was kind of cool. We see the Toon... No, not yet. We don't see Toon Summon Skull yet. There was another monster that Kaiba had to deal with of his. I don't remember. It was a Toon monster, but I just remember Blue Eyes Toon Dragon being one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen.
Yeah. Then there was... go on.
I really appreciated when the Toon Blue Eyes happened.
Oh, yeah.
And Kaiba goes, "I'll do anything to get my brother back, even destroy my own blue eyes." And I'm sitting there going, Kaiba, I would really hope that you would destroy your own fucking blue eyes, because this is just fucking Duel Monsters, but also, was that even a question?
He's not getting it.
Really? Did you really have to, sit there and go, save Mokuba? Destroy my blue eyes? In a duel.
My actual living brother for this piece of cardboard.
That isn't actually destroyed. It's just a hologram of it being destroyed.
I feel like it's a symbolic thing for him, which is I agree with Rain. That's a weird priority
Kaiba,
at the moment.
Eat a hot bag of dicks, Kaiba. I am so sick of his nonsense. I'm so sick of it.
Right. So I think, doesn't he actually loses.
Oh, he gets fucking murked.
He not only loses the duel, but he also loses his soul.
Oh, par for the course.
Honestly, we saw what happened the first time he got defeated in battle, so may as well.
It's bad times all around for whenever Kaiba has to lose a duel.
It's just, if Kaiba loses a duel, nobody's happy. If he wins a duel, nobody's happy.
That's just how it be.
Kaiba is just not a happy person at all. And I'm like, Kaiba, you need to, maybe Duel Monsters, maybe that's not for you, it's not for you, buddy. It's just, oh man.
Even though he's dedicated his entire life to it.
His entire fucking corporation, his Google-sized company is specifically for Duel Monsters. Come on now. Just...
Well, and that kind of gives the brackets of who's gonna be in the finals. And as you said, Colton, you really like the 4 that are involved.
I do, except Bandit Keith.
Yeah, except for Bandit Keith. So Bandit Keith is set to duel our favorite Brooklynite himself, Joey Wheeler,
Oh yeah.
as well Yugi, who's still all kinds of fucked up, is set to duel Mai.
And I thought those two duels were absolutely fantastic. First, it was Yugi versus Mai, and Yugi was basically battling himself the whole episode, going, I have to hold back the spirit in my Millennium Puzzle, otherwise it might hurt Mai. And I'm like, no, it's not going to do that this time. You're on both solid-ass grounds, so no.
But before the duel, I have to stop you really quick to talk about the thing that happens before the duel.
Oh, please.
Where Ghost Grandpa coming out and being like, Yugi, use the puzzle. And Yugi's like, how? And Grandpa's pretty much like, LOL, figure it the fuck out yourself, bitch. Oh no.
You know, Solomon Moto really is not a helpful character in Yu-Gi-Oh! The series at all. So,
Oh,
Is this the one you snapped me, Colton, where Yugi wakes up out of a dead sleep in full clothes?
yes.
He's wearing a choker and sneakers to bed, like
I paused it. I couldn't get a good visual on Snapchat, but he dead ass went to sleep in shoes, like full sneakers. He basically just took a nightshirt and put it over what he's already been wearing for this entire Duelist Kingdom thing. Because I see the shirt under the nightshirt. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Look, man, he's got to be ready. You got to wake up ready to duel.
But
like,
why even bother putting on the shirt? Just go to sleep.
He's been through it. He might have just passed out from all the excitement and all the internal conflict.
you know, it really be that way.
Oh my lord, I can't.
And everybody's favorite nonsense makers, Tristan, Taya, and Bakura, get fucking kidnapped by Pegasus.
Yes, they do. No. What happens is, they went to go see because they were trying to find out what the heck is going on with Pegasus and his mind reading powers. So Tristan is like, hey, check it out. Like, they go to the dueling arena at night, and Tristan's like, hey, check it out. There's a moonbeam coming in on where Yugi was sitting, or where Kaiba was sitting, and if I hold my hand up like this, it shows a card. And he looks at there's like a hole in the wall, and it points to a tower, and they're like, and Tristan's like, I'm gonna go climb that fucking tower. Like, Taya's like, no, you're not. And he's like, I'm doing it right now.
Tristan is constantly down. Like, get you a friend like Tristan Taylor. I can't even believe it.
Season 1, Tristan Taylor is fantastic. Season 2, Tristan Taylor, we're gonna have a talk about. But
You're damn right we will. Damn right we will.
But it is so funny because Taya's like, we are not climbing the tower. And Tristan's like, well, we're climbing the tower. And Bakura's like, what are you two doing? And Tristan's like, climbing the tower. He's like, sweet, I'm in. So,
Poor Bakura really was just like, wait, what? And they're like, we're gonna find out how this thing happened. And Bakura's just like, all right, damn, I guess I'm coming too.
Bakura is the definition of, like, a plot device, because he literally is just there for the ride. If he is not being taken over by the Millennium Ring, he's being roped into some dumb shit with Tristan, and it's fantastic. So,
I love that. Honestly, last episode you said that we were Joey and Tristan. I think we might be Joey and Bakura. I think I just constantly get roped into your nonsense.
I think so, maybe. But then Tristan, Taya, and Bakura climb up the tower, and they find out that it's like Pegasus's his like sanctuary. He's got all these pictures, these paintings of this woman, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And the lights turn on. It's like, "Did you turn on the lights?" No.
No.
Like, Pegasus comes up and he's like, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, all right, well, I forgot what he does with them after that.
He sends them to the Shadow Realm.
Yes, he fucking does. I forgot about that.
And then Merrick comes back.
Merrick?
And like, yeah.
Merrick doesn't come back.
Yeah, no, the evil spirit, sorry, through Bakura.
Yeah, that's a
shows up
different
there.
spirit. Yeah, there's a lot of spirits that we're gonna have to talk about. Marek is not
But-
Bakura, as I forgot about.
Yeah, but he shows up, they all get saved, and they all end up waking up back in their rooms thinking it was a dream.
Yeah. Do you remember when fucking the evil spirit of Bakura was like looking for Mokuba with Tristan, and like when the guards were chasing them, he dead ass pulls a Yu-Gi-Oh card out of his pocket
And stops the gun hammer with it, right?
Yeah,
Is
and
that it?
plays the card in real life as like, my man-eater bug's gonna kick your ass. And I'm like, could you imagine if like Zach or if like me and Zach were running from somebody, God forbid, and like Zach just pulls out a Yu-Gi-Oh card and shoves it in this guy's face and says, my dragon's gonna kill you. Like,
No,
could
boy,
you?
no, boy. Listen, nobody wants that summon skull. Nobody wants it.
It just, honestly, guys, it'd be that way, but you just jumped 6 episodes ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Cut your shit, man.
It's the
You
same
really, You
tower.
just skipped like 2 whole duels.
It's
Did
the
you
same-
take notes? I don't
It's
think
the same
so.
tower. It's the same tower, so that's where my mind went. All right, Ray, let's go. You've got the best notes.
So this leads us up. Yugi is going to duel Mai, but Yugi, like we stated, is still fighting himself, being like, no, I can't use the puzzle.
Let me help you, Yugi.
Yeah, and he's like going back and forth, and Mai literally at one point just turns around and is like, listen, I don't want to win against you if you're not trying. And he's like, I am trying. And she's like, okay, bitch,
Oh.
you're not. You're not, but okay. Like, Grandpa's soul being there, like, use the puzzle. And Yuki's like, what if I did the exact opposite of that?
Or we could not do that.
Use the puzzle, Luke. Like, it's literally the same thing. Like, it's just been such a time. So that should put us at what, 29? I think. Oh wait.
Episode 30 is where
Yeah.
Episode 30 is probably, they hit such a good milestone at episode 30. They finally called it Monster Reborn, and then that was
Oh,
when
yeah.
they switched Tristan's voice actor.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So,
An episode of changes.
yeah, so they finally, it's no longer Reborn the Monster. They're calling it Monster Reborn. We have Tristan's new voice actor, who I love. Like, that was so good. And then Yugi starts kind of getting his shit together.
Yeah, Mai basically snaps him into it, and she's like, I want to duel you at your absolute best, and if you can't do this for me, then I'm just gonna roll over you, and that's it. And you'll never be good. It's like you'll never be good enough if you can't learn to turn your sights inward and evaluate yourself. you
Holy
know?
shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and like, my favorite is like, I really enjoy that, like, they all don't realize that Yugi's having such an internal conflict because they don't really know what's going on with him.
they don't know there's a
So for Mai to
5,000-year-old fucking pharaoh inside of him.
Oh yeah, no, they don't know that. But for Mai to sit there and just be like, you lost one duel, like, get the fuck over it.
It
And
really
then-
was one duel.
It's an
Yeah,
important duel.
No, it wasn't. Kaiba was being a dick. Like,
Oh, that's par for the course.
it was not an important duel. It had no bearing on the actual outcome of the fucking Duelist Kingdom. It was just Kaiba being like, let me swing my dick and see if mine's bigger. Like, it was that.
I mean, it's important. That's important to him, apparently.
To everybody, to only Kaiba. To only Kaiba. That is his whole character, is a dick measuring contest personified.
exactly. And then Mai does the thing. She gives up.
Again?
Again. She doesn't want to see her harpies get destroyed.
No, I mean, you said she gives up again. When did she give up the first time?
When she dueled Taya, we just talked about that.
Didn't
Literally
Taya
just
give
spoke
up?
about this.
In the duel with Taya that we just talked about, she
Oh, I
forfeited the
forgot.
duel.
I forgot that
She
Mai
forfeit.
gave up. I thought Taya did. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. Mai forfeits in that one, and then she forfeits here because she doesn't want her harpies
Yep,
to get
I
destroyed.
saw that. Okay. I remember
We
that.
all know you've given up, Colton. No worry.
Yeah.
It's just
All but one brain cell is given up.
running a
And
tight
then-
ship up there.
And then we get into Joey versus Bandit Keith
Hell yeah.
and Rain's hatred Bandit Keith.
Listen, I almost like Bandit Keith more than Kaiba. Like, I really do. Because Bandit Keith is so delightfully simple, and Kaiba is so needlessly complicated. It's... Oh my god.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah, like Bandit Keith fucking steals... Like, there's... Can I explain this one? Because I really been waiting for this. So there's these 2 cards that you need. You need at least 1 card to participate in the finals. It was the card of the treasure and the card of the blank card. I forgot the name of that card. But it's either a blank card and a card with a bunch of money and like treasure on it. You could either choose 1 wish from Pegasus or the $3 million cash prize, and you had to have one of those cards to participate in the finals. So because Joey got into the Duelist Kingdom illegally, quote unquote, he was never given one of these cards. So what Yugi did is he's like, oh, I've got 2 of these cards. I'm not really here for the money, so here's the money, Joey. Here's the treasure card. I'm going to give it to you. And Bandit Keith's around the corner like, hey, I'm going to take it. Because his dumbass didn't take the cards with him when he went to the Duelist Kingdom. So he's like, all right, I'm going to take it, and Joey's going to have to forfeit the duel, and it's an easy win. So fucking Bandit Keith, after hearing why he needs the money, he's like, my sister needs an operation to save her eyesight because has a rare disease and she's fucking going blind. I need the money so I can make that stop and give my sister the life she deserves. And Bandit Keith's like, hey, $3 million. And it's... So I just hate him so much. And so he steals the card. He breaks into Joey's room and steals the card. And, like, he makes Joey go on this whole thing and, like, looking for the card. He's flipping everything over because he thinks he lost it. And Bandit Keith's like, hey, I took it. So, and then he meets up with Mai in the hallway. And this is great. This is where I really started to love Mai as a character. Because she's just like, oh, yeah, you look like a crying, you're crying. You're sniveling. Here, take this handkerchief. And he's like, I'm not crying, blah, blah, blah. He's like, just take it and keep it. You're going to be fine. And she turns around and he opens the handkerchief and in it is the treasure card.
Yeah.
Like Mai's treasure card.
That's classic.
I was like, oh, that's so nice. That's so cool. Mai's so nice. And then he goes in and fucking wipes the floor with Bandit Keith. Fuck Bandit Keith.
Rolled.
Absolutely. And then Bandit Keith's like, nah, I'm not leaving Duelist Kingdom. And Pegasus is like, yeah, you are. So, like, remember he tries to, like, jump Pegasus?
He does. And
he tries.
Yeah, he literally gets thrown into the sea for his dishonest ways.
And, like, are we just going to talk about how Pegasus at all times had a trap door completely surrounding him?
Yeah, he's like, we're probably going to need this.
Like, just the foresight.
Could you install this, please?
The fucking foresight. So
you got to admire it. At the end of the day, you have to admire just the prep work that goes into being Maximilian Pegasus.
He is a very, like, he definitely acts like his cards. He's a very cartoonish character. So, I just fuck Bandit Keith, and, you know, it's important that he got thrown into the ocean in season 2, so.
Right, but then that leaves only 2 duelists left in the Duelist Kingdom. And they're unfortunately best friends.
And it's Yugi and Joey. And oh my god, what a great duel that was. Oh my god. Like
that duel was so good.
It was like, so good.
Like, worth the build-up. Because there's not many things in this show that were worth the build-up, but this was really worth what they did. Minus the best friend montage was not about that.
Do you remember, Rain, do you remember when they fucking burst into musical?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Alright, you're gonna have to remind me of this.
There's like 3 musical numbers in season 1. Oh my god! And like it had this like Sonic Adventure 2-ass guitar riff behind it. Like, so
I know what
funny.
I'm doing exactly after this podcast is over.
So fucking funny.
There was just this montage as they're getting ready to duel each other of all of these scenes throughout season 1. Of course, we just give you a recap mid-episode, but with this song about how they're best friends and like it was very cringy, very like for the time. And I'm just sitting there like, would someone okayed this?
I remember sitting there when I was a child going, I wish I could skip this. Like, it was that bad. It's literally, it's one of those songs that sounds like it was written the day they wrote the episode. Like, it's just like, and they're best friends, and they've been through a lot. And
Guys, this airs in 20. We're gonna need... we need a song. Do you really need a song? This is about... I mean, I feel like this is a very important moment. No. I don't think you understand.
You don't understand. We need a fucking song now.
This is not... Yeah, I don't pay you to ask questions.
It really was that. It's so funny, man.
If you had to compare the sound to a musical artist, Colton, who would you...
Crush 40.
Who would you... Crush 40.
Easy. Easy.
The Sonic... Okay.
Specifically Crush 40 in 19...
a normal band that people listen to that is not Crush 40.
I don't think I could.
Early Breaking
No.
Benjamin.
Early Breaking Benjamin. You said that in the last one,
Yep.
I think. All right. Well, it's the match of the millennium. It's Yugi
Wait,
versus
the match of
Joey.
the what?
What's that?
The match of the what?
The match of the millennium.
Puzzle.
Ah! But Untis. There we go. Well, the second one.
You did.
Oh my god. What I enjoyed here is that as these two are starting their duel, and you know, Joey's like, I'm not gonna back down, and Yugi's like, neither am I want to duel you at your best. Taya is up in the stands crying, being like,
Yeah.
they shouldn't have to fight each other. And
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever seen a tournament before?
It's quite literally the rules.
Do you know what like happens in a tournament? And then I had the thought of, honestly, Yugi has like a bunch of like lives depending on him. Why not just promise Joey the money
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just be like, I gotta go duel Pegasus, bye. But no, we had to have this duel, and it's fucking Duel Monsters, and Taya's crying about
Yeah.
tournament rules.
Somebody should tell Taya that it's just Duel Monsters.
Me storming in, it's just fucking Duel Monsters.
Oh,
There's
man.
so many more seasons after this. You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, then you learn in season 2 it's not just Duel Monsters. But
Oh.
it's... Holy shit, it is the funniest thing. When you just think about it as the card game itself, this whole show is the funniest goddamn thing. And then, like, they have this fantastic battle. It's just such a nice... Because you can tell they're both having so much fun with it. You know what I mean? And by the end of it, like, after the fucking butt rock montage, they
I'm sorry, what?
like, it's just... I heard like that style of music be called butt rock one time, and I think it's the funniest thing because it's just such like
I
it's
don't
such
need an
bad.
explanation. You can just move on. I've just accepted that as a new genre.
As you should.
So,
Yo, man, you listen to butt rock.
oh my god, the first band is Asking Alexandria.
All right, then I'm just gonna skip.
Yeah,
over
please.
Sultan, and just so we have this duel. They both enjoy it. Yugi wins to the surprise of literally no one.
But like, I love the last part of the duel, you know, where Yugi's just like, "This is the hardest move I have ever had to make, and I'm so it was an honor to battle with you, Joey." And like, they were both crying, and I'm like, that's kind of nice. That was really sweet.
Friends.
But like, they didn't have to do that shit. They didn't have to do that. They could have just done that, and I've been like, all right, now I see it. I see how close these two are, you know. So,
You telling me they didn't need a musical number?
no,
They really didn't.
they didn't. It's that bad.
Okay. All right, agree to disagree, but we can move on.
You're going to watch it, and I'm going to get that text. I know exactly when you're going to finish watching it because I'm going to get the text going. Yeah, they really didn't need it.
I ended. I'm a failure. I've only watched up to 25. I'm relying on Wikipedia for every bit of context.
That's fine because like I know you're gonna get it. Like you're gonna hear a lot of this, and it's gonna jog all those childhood memories loose.
All right. So where does that put us now after the duel between friends?
Episode 35. We have Yugi versus Pegasus. Pegasus is talking about, if you win, I will grant any wish, anything you want. Somebody was like, you can ask for his eye. And I was like, why don't you just rip out his eye? But it's a kid's show. I guess that's a little too far.
Probably.
I don't know. They're fucking out here killing people.
It's true, but while this is happening, Tristan and Bakura go on their stealth mission to find Mokuba and Kaiba.
Oh, yeah, this is the one where Tristan
A lot starts up in this episode.
Yeah, this is the one where Tristan's sneaking around in a whole-ass suit of armor. Love that.
Yeah. It was a time.
I adore that man.
He's a good boy. Definitely a good boy in season 1. And I just love... We were just talking about it before with... Bakura, or the evil spirit living inside Bakura, fucking playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards in real life, and the fucking guards find them, and he just pulls out a man-eater bug and is like, go, my man-eater bug, go and kill them. I'm like, you're kidding. In this show, the most ridiculous things that the absolute dumb fuckery that has happened up to this point, I drew the line at playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards in real life.
I'm glad that's where you drew the line. Like, at least you had, like, a line.
I honestly wish they did that again at some point, because that was so funny. I can't.
It seems you're really tickled by that.
Because, like, I remember I had to... you ever just see something so insane that you just have to pause it and let your brain just digest what you saw?
Totally. Yeah.
Like, I've been
watching Baki recently.
Oh,
so
yeah. I just remember seeing that scene and just pausing it with my mouth agape, like, that happened, and it happened again. Like, he did it a second time in that same sequence.
He summons like 3 monsters.
Oh
right?
my
god! He
God.
uses 3 cards in real life.
Yeah, he uses like a magic card to trap them.
Yeah, and it's like on the 3rd card that Tristan finally is like, wait a minute, something is really wrong here, and he takes the ring off of Bakura and just yeets it. Into the forest.
Just
like, this is gone, and then has to carry Mokuba's body and Bakura's body back.
So ripped. That's his duelist way. That's the way he contributes, is just by being jacked. That's all he's got.
He's literally like, he's the group Sokka. He really is.
That's a fair assessment.
And while all of this is going on, Yugi is falling to the tunes, like, just as Kaiba was. We get the boy, Toon Summon Skull.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
That little goblin-looking motherfucker. Love him.
And Pegasus does he goes, I'm gonna enlist some help from the Shadow Realm and make some fucking orb shit around them.
Yeah. You remember when Tristan tries to run through it and he like fucking
on the other side?
Oh yeah, so good.
Cheater, man, fucking cheater.
And like he tries it like 6 more times, and Taya's like, Tristan, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. As he did in the duel with Joey, he's ready, and he just goes, okay, I know how to make it so Pegasus can't read our cards. Let's mind shuffle. So Yugi goes from tiny little baby Yugi to Yami multiple times in this duel, like every other turn.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to the Shadow Realm, Pegasus is like, you won't be able to do this anymore because your pathetic little mind won't be able to handle it. And boy, was he right.
Oh, yeah, he was right. But, like, I had a whole problem with that sequence. How the fuck... I just don't understand. Imagine, Zach, if you and I were to duel, or Rain, if you and I were to duel somebody together, and every other turn we switched off on the same deck and just didn't tell each other what we did. What the fuck? How does that work?
Well, so
Not
I'm sure
agree.
we would win.
What?
Yeah, the two of you can think along with one another. Colton and I, we'd be screwed. We would have much different approaches. I feel like Rain and you would be able to pull it out.
I
I'd be
think
like,
so.
What? What? Monster card?
But, like,
What?
we can't look at face down cards until we play them. So, like,
That's true.
you know what I mean?
You would just have to believe, you know? The heart of the cards.
I believe in our friendship.
Man, I think we should do that for a stream sometime. I think that would be fun.
Four-person duel.
Like a 3-person duel, but one person has to one side has to switch and use the same deck and just duel the same way Yugi dueled Pegasus.
I dig it. That sounds like a great idea.
I'm sure that would go so well,
Swimmingly.
swimmingly.
Oh man, so Yugi's switching off and they're trying to do their mind switch thing. And Pegasus is just like Shadow Realm, and Yugi goes unconscious. He's like, I'm going to play one more card because that's all I have left in me. It's up to the Pharaoh now. And he just, well, it's not the Pharaoh at that point, but he's just like, it's up to the Spirit and the Millennium Puzzle now. And then he just fucking conks out. Like
Which is what he's been doing, though. So, like, it's not that big a deal. It's just that Pegasus can now read Yami's mind, probably.
Right. So, but he can't read that one card. And of course, that one card is the one that comes in to save the day. So, Rain, what do your notes say about that one?
My notes, hold on a minute. I have so many notes. You gotta give me a second to catch up here. No, actually, it's really bad because my notes say, oh shit, Yugi's dead, and the next thing says friendship mind protection.
Friendship. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So basically, what happens with that is Pegasus tries to read Yami's mind, and then all of a sudden, you just see the faces of Joey, Taya, Tristan, and little Yugi, and he's like, what? I can't read his mind. And then Yami's like, that's right, the power of my friends is blocking your Millennium Mind.
Look, man, I like y'all, but you better fucking stop telekinesis if it's affecting me. You better friendship protect my mind.
You know I'm going to do that. I'm going to be just screaming in my head and making sure that helps. But
yeah, you're definitely going to be like playing the Benny Hill theme in your head to distract people.
Oh man,
The next time you are in like a life-threatening duel, Zach, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that immensely, really. I can't thank you enough.
The next time you play a shadow game.
Next time on Yu-Gi-Oh!
So we get that. We get the friendship blocking telekinesis thing.
Friendship mind protect.
So fucking funny. So we get that, and Pegasus can't read Yugi's mind, or Yami's mind at that point. So he kind of has to duel fairly, quote unquote. But it's at that point where he beats the tunes, and he's like, all right, well, Pegasus can't really do anything anymore. And then he's like, psych, here's the illusionist. I forgot what the...
Illusionist Faceless Mage?
No, it's like the Dark Illusionist or something. It's the one with the Millennium Eye on it. He's like, this is a monster I made specifically for our duel, Yugi boy.
Yeah, that seems like more of his brand.
Yeah, and he's like, these are a set of monsters I made specifically for the tournament. And then the illusionist does this, then starts with the relinquished and the Thousand Eyes shit. So, that was, what episode was that? Where
we're on like 37, 38.
Relinquish is summoned in episode 38. And in
yes.
episode 39, we have, once again, the best card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming to victory, Karibo. It's always Karibo.
Always. Well, no,
And the
he
multiply spell card.
doesn't quite come in yet, because before that, we summoned my favorite monster of all fucking time, Thousand Eyes Restrict. And I'm literally holding it right now. I was kind of sifting through Yu-Gi-Oh cards while we're doing this.
Yeah, he's holding it close to his heart.
Absolutely. It is one of my favorite cards ever. And it's just one of the coolest looking cards, one of the coolest effect cards ever. Like, if it's on the field, you just can't do anything to it, and you can't, like, destroy it. So it's just, it's
there.
broken. It is broken as shit. But yeah, then we get that, and then we get the little Karibo, and then he does the multiply spell card, which I looked up, by the way. It does only work on Karibo, but it says summon as many Karibos as possible. So I guess multiply actually does do that. You know,
But
I
you
guess
can only summon 5 monsters.
Well, you know, I see where they're interpreting that from. You know, I guess that's probably the closest thing they could do, you know?
Oh, yeah, probably.
So, I mean, that's true. I mean, also, who the fuck has 5 Karibos in their deck?
I mean, Yugi Moto does.
Yugi has 1 Karibo that he constantly plays in tandem with Multiply, and that's it.
We stand Karibo, though.
We do stand Karibo. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
But, like, and then he gets multiplied, and then he attaches onto all the stupid fucking eyes, and, like, they all blow up. He's like, no, he's blind. Like, that does nothing. There's nothing in the card that says that. So...
No, it definitely says, and if Karibo with multiply is played, Relinquish goes blind.
And if, God forbid, this monster goes blind, it's damn useless. So...
Yep, that's literally what it says. That's it. I would know.
Wow. So then, I think Dark Magician destroys it or something. I don't
Yep,
remember.
Yugi.
Yeah.
Pretty much, Yugi wins, and Pegasus runs the fuck away.
Yeah. He just peace sign fades and is just like, yep, well, I don't know how to deal with that, so I'm gonna just, out of here.
He literally does, like, the peace sign fade. He's gone. He goes to his secret tower that they had climbed. And we get such a classic love story, I would have to say, out of
Really?
Pegasus. Oh yeah, this is. Let me just tell you, classic love tale, right? Boy meets girl. Boy falls in love. Girl dies. Boy seeks out black magic and opens up the Shadow Realm. Takes out his own eye for love.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that. That he did it all. He did it all for that girl.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
Cecilia.
Cecilia, there it is. And that brings us to I believe, the final episode of season 1.
No.
Oh, no, we're getting there. We're getting there.
No?
This is episode 40, and there's 49 episodes.
Yeah.
It goes past the Duelist Kingdom. There's some...
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
our
forgot.
boy Duke Devlin comes up a little later. So.
Oh, listen, I refuse to not talk about Dungeon Dice Monsters when it comes up.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
Let's just make that clear ahead of time.
We have this man showing up with the Millennium Key. He turns everything into negative. The color scheme. It was really weird. It was a little trippy.
I forgot what his name was, but...
I don't remember, but the Dark Magician is just chilling in Yugi's mind, vibing and protecting Yugi,
yeah.
which is valid to me.
He's only listed as the Egyptian here.
Well, that's it.
Oh, no, he definitely has a name.
Yes, I know his name, but we're gonna keep it in
yeah, you're gonna have
our
to tell
back
me.
pocket for now.
And you know what sucks? I literally just saw him in the episode I watched like right before this podcast, and I don't remember his name. Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, we get that guy, and he's trying to find out if Yami is the one that's fucking up the balance. He literally comes in, he's like, I sense a disturbance in the force, and like
Somebody stole the Millennium Eye or whatever, and he's like, it wasn't me, and he's like, it was you, and then he's like, oh wow, would you look at that, it wasn't you.
yeah,
He's like, thank, it wasn't me.
was just trying to tell you that. But so he goes out and he finds out that does he find out at that point that Bakura stole it?
No, they don't know that yet.
Okay.
Like we find out, you know, and I think it's great. You know, Joey won the prize money, Yugi became king of games and got everyone's soul back, and Bakura got an eye. So
Yeah,
who's the real winner here?
Bakura, obviously.
So they pretty much, you know, Pegasus goes and he has this whole thing. Bakura gets the eye. They all are just kind of like standing around like, what do we do? They get their prizes. And then they're like, you need to leave the island immediately. Like, you need to.
Oh yeah,
Pegasus
Croquet is
wants none
just
of
like,
you
get the
here.
fuck out of here.
See
They
ya.
leave the island. They're going to the game card shop and later. All of this in the same episode. And there's a fucking child. The child's
No,
just like,
before we get to her, can I just specify that when Croquet says we request that you
Croquet.
leave, they didn't provide a means of doing that. They had to
No.
fly out on Kaiba's helicopter.
Figure
Because
it out, bitch.
They literally, Croquet was like, get off the island and figure out how. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You didn't provide these children with places to stay, with food, with clothing, and you didn't even provide them transportation off the island?
no, because Pegasus thought he was gonna win. Why
Oh
would he need to give them transportation off when he thought he was just gonna take everyone's soul?
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, so outside the card shop, the game shop, is a child who challenges Yuki's grandfather to a duel, claiming that he stole her Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Okay.
And she's like adamant about it. And Yugi's like, my grandfather just got out of the hospital. He can't duel you. And she's like, bitch, he stole my card. I should mention that she's like 8.
Oh yeah. And
And
quite
she
literally
is
holding a
the-
teddy bear.
Yeah, American dueling champion.
Rebecca Hawkins.
Yeah.
Oh, that last name was a big thing.
Yeah, it was. So, you find out that she is the grandchild to Grandpa's best friend. They did all of the Egypt stuff together, and the duel that's happening is the exact same duel that Grandpa played many years ago. Where I think he acquired the fucking Blue Eyes White Dragon anyway.
Yep.
Mm.
And I remember just looking back at this duel. Like, remember when they were telling the flashback about like, oh yeah, we were on an archaeology dig together, and Yugi's grandpa and this other guy, Professor Hawkins, were just like, they were digging and then they got trapped. And
Yes.
like, they're like, oh yeah, we're running out of food and water, blah blah blah, and they're just like, how about we have a duel for the last drink of water? And I'm like, wow, that's fucking intense. But then I got to thinking, did they just both carry Yu-Gi-Oh cards to an archaeological dig?
Man, you gotta pass the time somehow. I don't understand what you mean. Like,
Like, what do you do at night when you can't sleep? You know someone's gotta have their duel monsters.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, like, the whole time I'm watching this show, I want to get back into this card game because it looks fun. But then I realize, you know, it's way ahead of what I'm currently looking at. But I just wish that we lived in a world where that was so prevalent. You know? Because that just seems fun all the time. Like, all the time. Except if you're Kaiba, then it's just agony. But it's,
oh my god. True.
it's just fun. It's fun for normal people. But, I just, that struck me as crazy that they just both happened to have whole ass Yu-Gi-Oh decks on them while they were doing an archaeological dig.
They come strapped. They're ready to go.
It'd be that way.
Oh,
We
man.
get this child goes, it's all about winning, and then I was like, but what about the heart of the cards? Just wondering. The duel plays out the exact same way Grandpa's duel does, with Yugi forfeiting the duel.
Yeah.
And
So he forfeits the duel for the last drink of water that they're having in the archaeological dig.
Pretty much. Yeah,
he
like,
forfeits to give it to Hawkins, being
yeah.
like,
What a
"You
good
need it-
guy.
You need it more than I do. And then Yugi's like, oh, I understand. I know what happened. And he forfeits, and he's like, you needed the win more than I did. And then has to show this child a ripped up Blue Eyes White Dragon card.
Rough.
now I think it's worth mentioning that the reason he didn't forfeit because he didn't have like a good card to play. He would have played the winning card if he didn't forfeit. So he forfeited specifically to show Rebecca at that point the value of winning, you know? And I thought that was kind of cool, but at the same time, you could have just been like, it's such
I
a
don't know.
weird sequence. It's such a weird, like, thing to happen immediately after the fucking Duelist Kingdom arc. You know?
Maybe they were running out of ideas at that point. They're like, screw it. Just throw a little girl in there. Let's see what happens.
It's
Well,
so
I think
strange.
They gave you that episode as like kind of a buffer for the next bullshit thing that comes right after this.
Yeah, this was definitely the Goku and Piccolo driving arc.
How dare you remind me that exists? Dragon Ball Z episode when?
Never.
Soon, we gotta do it soon. But I just, it was such a strange episode. But then we got your boy, Zach.
Yeah.
That's my guy, Duke Devlin, right there.
Duke
Yes, sir.
fucking Devlin.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
There are a few episodes in between that
Kaiba
there?
Corpse.
we're gonna call Kaiba's Virtual Game Pod arc.
Oh, how did I
They're
forget?
involved.
How did I forget the fucking PlayStation VR prototype?
Oh yeah, where literally Kaiba goes, I'm gonna fire everybody, and his whole team goes, wait, we finished your virtual game pod. And then they trap him in there
Yeah.
and try to kill him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kaiba.
these guys are known as the Big Five, apparently,
Mm-hmm.
which I find hilarious, just on the concept of being the Big Five. I don't know why I find that so funny.
Because it's so lazy. Like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad.
it's just ridiculous. They don't even have faces. Like, they're shadows all the time.
There's a lot of shadow work going on. There's a lot of shadow themes.
Oh yeah, and then we get like the whole Dungeons and Dragons-esque adventure that they go on, and I wanted to do that. I would love a game like that.
Yeah, it's like it's the VR Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh
which is
yeah,
fucking dope as shit. I'm into that. Let's get it.
it was so good. And then I just love the fact that My Valentine was there for no fucking reason.
She's
You know?
there
Yeah.
because she's part of the gang now.
She's there because she was test playing it, apparently. Like, they reached out to her to test play this. And then she's like, Joey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, we're trying to get Kaiba. And she's like, all right, I guess I'm going to come get Kaiba too.
Yeah, she's like, all right, fuck it, why not?
Might as well.
Oh, so funny. So they go through this whole thing. They go through like this weird Legend of Zelda-esque, Yu-Gi-Oh-esque type thing. They have to. Then they actually battle towards the end. They battle this really cool boss creature that you were supposed to find out. Like the game
The
was
five-headed dragon.
Yeah, so basically the premise of the game that Kaiba was building is that there's these two kingdoms, and one kingdom offers a sacrifice, the other kingdom offers another sacrifice, and they use it to summon this mythical dragon. And one of the kingdoms had
What a nerd.
a princess that looked exactly like Mokuba, and watching that now, I'm like,
Oh boy.
that's a red flag for Kaiba.
That's a large flag. That's a large flapping red flag. Right there.
That is a huge
Big
red
red
flag. But I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. And at the end, like the princess reveals that she's the sacrifice, and the other kingdom had already put up their sacrifice, Kaiba. So Mokuba's like, I have to get there, and the princess is like, well, I'm going, and Mokuba's like, nah, we look exactly alike, we're switching clothes. And I'm like,
Oh boy.
bigger red flag.
Yeah, this is a lot to take in.
Yeah, so Mokuba gets kidnapped and brought to the castle as the sacrifice. And then Yugi, Joey, Mai, and I think it's just Yugi, Joey, and Mai, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So all three of them have to go on this flying machine that they dig out of the earth, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a flying machine fossil. How are we going to make it fly? And Joey's like, how are we going to make it fly?
Yeah.
Like,
Time wizard.
the time wizard. So he takes
Jesus.
the fucking time wizard out, and he ages the thing back 1,000 years, and they fucking fly up to this thing. And
Classic Joey Wheeler right there.
so classic Joey Wheeler. And I love the fact that they had like their monsters as kind of just tag along partners, and I thought that was really cool. But then they get to the castle, and they free Mokuba, they free Kaiba. Kaiba summons his blue eyes, because of fucking course he does, and kills the monster that was keeping him hostage. So they escape the game, and they're like, oh yeah, we did it. So here's the end of the game. We're all getting out. And the big five are just like, no. So we rewrote this shit. So they just get taken to a glitched out part of the whole game, and all of a sudden the mythic dragon is just spawned. And they're like, okay, cool. And it's just this 5-headed dragon with like 5,000 attack and defense points. It's just
Complete hacks. Utter hacks.
absolutely complete
Yeah.
hacks.
Oh yeah, exactly. They make it so the only monsters that can be summoned are dragon monsters,
Yeah.
which is great because everybody at least has one
Yeah.
dragon.
Mai had Harpy's
then
Pet Dragon. Yugi had Curse of Dragon for all the fucking work that did.
Joey has Thousand Dragon.
No,
or,
he has Red Eyes.
Here's the
Oh
red eye.
right. Whatever. That's
then,
not as
you know,
that's not as
and-
important as Thousand Dragon.
Out
And
of
Kaiba
here
has
with that.
3 blue eyes dragons.
Which one does Kaiba have? I forgot.
They never tell you, so like,
Never.
it's very
It's always a mystery.
rare that you know what he has.
Yeah.
But
so.
I rated Kaiba's game an 8.5 out of 10 for too many dragons, but
Yeah.
it's fine. They all start getting taken out, and it ends up just being Yugi and Kaiba at the end, and they fuse their cards together, and I sat there wondering why Joey can summon a fusion, but Yugi had to actually use polymerization, but it's fine.
You know, I sat there thinking that was like the first taste we got of Yugi and Kaiba as a tag team, and I'm like, wow. Even as a kid, I'm like, holy shit, this would be great if they worked together. And then Kaiba's like, ugh, I can do it by myself. And I'm like, no, Kaiba, no. Like, he's just like, I'm just gonna do it by myself. And I just remember, even as a child, I'm like, no, he's gonna kill us all. So I hate Kaiba and Yugi as a tag team because Yugi's trying so hard. Yugi hates Kaiba. You can feel it.
Welcome to the Fuck Kaiba podcast.
Honestly, welcome to the Fuck Kaiba podcast. It's just, you can tell how much he hates working with Kaiba, but he's like, we have to do it. And Kaiba's just like,
has to be
no, I
done."
do it alone. And
Oh my god. But in the end, they do work together, they win, they save everybody.
Yeah, they
and
bring
Kaiba
out-
is still a fucking shithead.
they bring out arguably the coolest monster in Duel Monsters, which is the Dragon Master Champion. And, like, just so fucking cool. It's the Blackluster Soldier fused with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It is so fucking cool. And I just remember watching that as a kid, like, screaming. I'm like, that's possible? So, I was like, I needed that card. And I had it for a little while, and I don't know what happened to it. But...
You know what happens next, folks?
The last 3 episodes of the season.
Which are arguably, I think there's 4. It says that there's 4 here.
Oh yeah, sorry. I miscounted.
No, don't worry about it at all.
The last 4.
I think I'll take it from here, Rain. I think you've done enough. I think that you should probably rest in your in your grand rewatch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1, knowing that it's behind you now.
Dude, and that's great because I only took 1.5 pages of notes for the last 4 episodes.
Great.
And really just spent most of it trying to understand Duke and what dice monsters want.
Well, he is is probably my favorite. One of my favorites, like non-squad characters, because obviously that goes to Tristan Taylor. But so everything seems back to normal. They're back in the real world after going AWOL in the crazy real world. And it's time for them to, be students again and go back to school and just, do that. But, guys, there's a mysterious new student at school, and he has gotten a very large population of female students' attention because he is just a smooth-talking, dice earring-wearing motherfucker by the name of Duke Devlin. Duke Devlin is a double threat when it comes to the gaming world because he not only knows how to play Duel Monsters, but he also has a game of his own. So that actually starts off with Joey, obviously not allowing anyone to get any sort of attention other than himself, to duel him and lose. And Rain, if you don't recall, an old favorite trope of ours from last episode comes back because Joey, as a lose condition to this duel, has to become Duke's servant. Now, that seems all well and good, but the return of the dog costume comes back.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm
So
telling
Duke-
you, it was someone's kink. They wrote it in.
Duke orders Joey to wear a dog costume and humiliates him in public. And so Yugi, being the nice guy he is like, yo, duel me, bruh. I just killed God. Get up with it, in order to free Joey from this weird enslavement servitude. Duke obviously accepts, but he's like, no, none of this Duel Monsters nonsense. Instead, they're going to play the game that he created himself, known only, hilariously to me, as Dungeon Dice Monsters. Now, this was a pivotal moment for me in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom as a child, because I said, you can keep your fucking cards. You can keep the whole game. Where's my Dungeon Dice Monsters for real? Because it's a great, awesome little game in which I think it's been a while, but Joey Yugi is actually pretty unfamiliar with the rules as things goes on. So they play on a board full of squares. How very interesting for that. Board full of squares where you have Dungeon Dice Monsters. It's just D&D. It's D&D with weird other rules, and I love it.
It is such a cool game. I wish that came out.
I do too. Konami, you fucked up. Konami, you fucked up.
They did sell the dice.
Amazon.com.
Like, that was a thing.
We'll find out. We'll find out if I have to. We'll find out if I have to lay out hard-earned American dollars this evening.
I definitely recall
I'm bugged
it
out.
being a thing for a while. I don't think it exactly maybe was the same as it was in the game.
There was a game.
Like in the show, but I do remember it. Like I remember because my sister liked Duke and she liked the dice, so.
I'm not seeing it on Amazon, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
There's a Game Boy Advance game for Dungeon Dice Monsters.
Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Limited supply Dungeon Dice Monsters set. Oh, it is going down today, boys. I can't even believe this.
Wait,
It's
what?
a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters set. $150.
Oh shit.
I love this. I love this. I would die for this.
Oh yeah, they
Anyway,
did do this. Oh wait a minute, I had these.
You're gonna pull. I know for a fact they're still in your house.
Oh,
'Cause
they
you guys
have
hold
to
on
be.
to everything.
They
so
have to be.
You're gonna turn that fucker upside down for me. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so you roll a good degree, like a couple of dice. They're like D6 regular 6-sided dice every round, and you get these crests. And the crests allow you to do different things. Now, from what I can remember, there's summon crests, there's movement crests. I think there are trap crests. But the idea is the more monsters you have, the more you can move them, the more you can attack. But when you do a summon thing, the dice actually end up folding out into a certain pattern in order to give that character, that monster, squares to move around. So the idea is to not only summon the monsters, but create kind of a pathway to your opponent in order to kind of give them some kind of, some place to go. So Duke reveals that he designed Dungeon Dice Monsters with the help of not only Mr. Maximilian Pegasus, and that he seeks revenge against Yugi for cheating against Pegasus during the big final duel. Yugi's obviously like, I definitely didn't do that. If anything, Pegasus did that by reading my fucking cards. You're an idiot. And Duke's like, nah, don't care. However, next episode, 48, Yugi manages to get ahead of Duke in this little game. However, he falls victim to an unfamiliar rule that prevents him from summoning any more monsters. So it's pretty bad. It's really sad. You lose heart points in this game. You don't lose life points, but you lose heart points, which might as well just be life points. So Duke summons the all-powerful Orgoth the Relentless, and Yugi's most if not all of Yugi's monsters are destroyed, and Yugi's got his last turn, and there's only one specific pattern left on the board that isn't full up, or is enough spaces for him to summon a creature, but it's like a very, very slim chance that this is going to fall in the correct place for, because if you summon a character and if you summon a monster and the squares go over another square, it won't be summoned. You can't summon where there's already squares. So Yugi, as he often does, just risks it all and summons the monster, and it manages for the dice to fold out in the exact pattern that he needed. And he manages to win. Joey doesn't have to wear the dog suit anymore. And then Duke kind of becomes like a homie. He becomes like a friend. He's like, hey,
Tristan B?
I get it.
Like,
Yo. Duke Devlin's my guy. He's like, you probably defeated Pegasus fairly because that was some G shit that you just pulled on me. Good looks, let's be friends. And that's it. That's all it should take for a good villain is just a 4-episode arc to be a dick and then just become a best friend. So, justice for Duke Devlin, justice for Dungeon Dice Monsters. There should have been a second episode. They should have played it again in a later season, but unfortunately, this is all we get, and it's a travesty, really.
Yeah, it really was a cool game, and I really like Yugi is a fucking madman. He was like, I'm going to risk my entire Duel Monsters career on a game that I've never played. And not only that, but Duke was literally feeding him rules as they happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what
Absolutely
a
no idea.
dickhead.
No idea. Yeah. Look, I get it. Duke Devlin, problematic fave. Doesn't mean he's not a fave. All right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, listen, Yuki is king of games, alright? Like, he'll figure it out.
And Duke
was
Devlin?
fine.
He's the king of dice. Sorry.
yeah, he may be the king of games, but like he was playing Duel Monsters before he fucking fought Pegasus. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's fine. He figured it out. He won.
I don't know. So that left a huge bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, you're literally going against the fucking creator of this game with no knowledge on how to play it, and you're expecting
He
to.
had a help screen.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Never mind. Let me just retract my whole argument. Everything's fine. So.
No, I get it.
Just
Duke
saying,
Devlin was a
what
dick.
It's just, oh my god! But I just
Definitely could have used some rules ahead of time,
Okay.
like a manual,
Okay.
please.
absolutely.
There's the where you could say, well, you should have read the manual because he should have.
Yeah, 100%. But I really do think we should have got more dungeon dice monsters. But I feel like that was like conflicting with what they wanted to sell. You know, I feel like if they were to push that second way, or fuck it,
They should have sold Dungeon Dice Monsters.
they should have
Simple as that.
They should have given us a spin-off series.
Oh, I would have died for that. Konami, if you need voice actors, give me an older Duke Devlin.
Of
You know,
course.
give me his kid. I don't care. You know, make him still wear the dumb dice earring and the bandana and
Absolutely.
the tank top with the vest. His outfit was cold, man. The dude had
Yeah.
style. I still remember him saying, "Oh, I think the Lady Lux got a little crush on Duke Devlin. He was the man. I don't care. He's so good."
Yeah. I mean,
He's,
just give me a Dungeon Dice Monsters game and just let me play older Joey Wheeler. Like, just
instead of it's. And speaking of one, because Yugi won the duel, that is season 1
that's
of
it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Wow.
We did it. We made it through the whole season.
We
I-
finally did it, boys. It happened.
I cannot believe we made it. And then I started watching season 2, and I think we should talk about that at some point. Definitely
Right.
not
No,
next week.
That will not be happening.
I volunteer to take Rain-esque notes for season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! I will do it.
very
I'll
nice.
do the whole thing. I'll make it happen. It's time the torch was passed. It's time that they rested.
Absolutely, I agree. But season 2, as I'm watching it, they have far more respect for the rules in this season. So it's
How many
not
times have they told you what Pot of Greed does?
every single time. I'm sitting here like Marek just used it. Like after he becomes super evil, he's like, "It lets me draw 2 cards." I'm like, "You fucking idiot! Yes, I know it lets you do 2 cards. You've played it.
If any card didn't need to be explained, it's Pot of Greed.
Like you've used it against everybody on screen so far. Of course we know what it does." Oh my god, it's every time. And it's incredible. I don't know why. Because a lot of cards, they don't explain what it does because we've already seen that before. But every Pot of Greed is explained. It's just dumb. Like, come on. We get it. It's Pot of Greed.
It's because they're afraid that you'll forget what it does.
I just, no, we're not. We're definitely not. I assure you.
Dude, that's the thing. Is in the movie that they did. Actually, they still in the movie. You have to be a fan of the anime. You have to maybe even know the card game to even consider going into this cinematic experience, and they still explain what Pot
Yeah.
of Greed does.
Yeah.
Holy
You know,
shit!
It just sometimes you need to know what Pot of Greed does, and that it lets you draw 2 cards.
And why don't you guys be greedy and follow us on all of our various social media and hang out with us and talk to us about your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards and maybe we'll read some answers out on the air. That would be great.
Oh, I'd love that.
Right. So the last, I think we always end these off with like a little question or a little thingy. If it wasn't Yugi, who would you want to have won Duelist Kingdom?
Rain, you want to go first? Because I already have my answer. Pat.
I know it's not Bandit Keith. I get it. I know that.
I would have thrown
You
him
see,
off the
the
cliff
thing is
myself.
that-
We can use anybody that got like knocked out. I don't care. If it wasn't Yugi, who should it have been?
I'm gonna have to go with the answer I want to say is Bakura, but Bakura wasn't there for Duelist Kingdom, so he wasn't dueling. But honestly, Joey my heart says Joey. He
Yeah.
needed the money, and he honestly went from being like unable to duel to like a top fucking duelist in that span of what seemed like a day and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say Joey specifically because he wasn't even fucking invited. He was such a bad duelist. He wasn't even invited. And imagine that. Imagine finding out, like, he's the king of games, finding out he wasn't even invited to the goddamn thing. You know what I mean?
And he still managed to pull it out.
And
That's
he
good.
pulled out the entire win. I would absolutely have loved to see Joey pull out that win because he played one of my favorite cards. He had Red Eyes out on the field during his battle with Bandit Keith. He took the Metal Claw, like the Metal Morph thing that Bandit Keith had, and he turned into Red Eyes Metal Dragon. I loved that shit. That was so cool. I wish they played Battle City rules where like you could take the rarest card in your opponent's deck, because just take Metal Morph and just have Red Eyes Metal Dragon forever. You
I
know?
love that. All right, I'm gonna come out here with a super controversial opinion.
My Valentine.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Here's the deal, though. I'd want it set up in a specific way. I'd want Yugi to lose, right? And kind of have that moment where the fandom is like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Like have his Ned Stark moment.
I thought that not even like just like because I think My Valentine is in there for so many like pivotal moments and contributes to the plot in so many like specific and very helpful ways, like forfeiting the duel with Taya so that Yugi could go to the duel to go fight Pegasus in the first goddamn place. Like, being one of Joey's test matches in order to become this great duelist and figure out some of his strategy, and being present for the whole VR nonsense. I just feel like it would have been crazy to me cause we all remember, here's the thing. We all remember that, his whole Millennium Eye thing, right, allows him to see the cards. But if we remember My Valentine's duel with Joey, she manages to kind of psychologically shuffle herself around. She's got the perfume on the cards, which is like her shit. It's like almost her version of the Millennium Eye. And since she's such a good duelist, she'll know her deck. She won't even have to like think about the cards. Like I would think it would be badass as shit if she just had all the cards face down. And she's like, I don't know what cards I have, so neither do you. But I know how they smell. And just whoop Pegasus's ass. I figured that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I thought about that even when I was a kid. So when I was watching this for the first time. So yeah, fucking justice for My Valentine. Good shit. Konami Dungeon Dice Monsters win, please.
Yeah. My Valentine, and definitely in season 2, you're going to love talking about My Valentine because
Can't wait.
Holy shit. Is she like
My Valentine and Sango from Inuyasha were the first ones for me. They were just right up front. They were up there. I can't wait. And thank you all for listening, and thank you all for hanging out with us while we talk about anime for once instead of video games.
Absolutely. Maybe anime episode next week. We don't know.
Let's do it. Who cares?
I think it'll be fun.
It's quarantine. The rules are out the window.
Absolutely. COVID content. We got to do it. So, oh man. Well, thanks guys. This was fun.
Thank you, Rain. Like honestly,
Rain, you did some
huge.
fucking amazing legwork for this.
Oh, well, you know, that's what happens when you have free time.
Yeah, I'll say.
All right.
Rewatching my
Thank
entire
you guys,
childhood.
though.
I think it's time to draw our last card for this podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and just remember, it's fucking Duel Monsters.
It's fucking Duel Monsters,
It's
man.
just a game. It's just
Bye.
cardboard. Pictures on cardboard.